If I go back to 1974, we had the Brisbane floods and nursing staff were a little bit scarce on the ground, and I applied for a position at the Royal Brisbane Hospital. I was appointed to a medical ward, which was Ward 1D at the time. It was a 40-bed Florence Nightingale ward with approximately 20-odd beds on the inside of the ward and almost about 20 beds in the enclosed verandas. Within the ward were medical patients, and also admitted to that medical ward were patients with blood cancers, and especially patients with leukaemia. It was an incredibly inhumane way of caring for patients. For me as a mother with 4 children, I found it overwhelming sometimes. At that time, also the 70s, there was a huge explosion in the new treatments that were available, medical technologies that were available, and but the problem here in Queensland was that we didn't have access to those state-of-the-art treatments. It was sometime in the 75, I guess, that I became aware of the Lions Leukaemia Foundation. I had met Trevor Olsen because he was a visiting consultant to the Royal Brisbane Hospital as well at that time. But about a month after they were established, there was screaming headlines, absolutely screaming here. These patients must die because of the lack of resources here in Queensland. And I must admit, when I opened that paper and saw it, I thought, oh, damn, how are we going to support these patients? They're going to be incredibly anxious because here I'm reading about the fact maybe I'm going to die because we don't have this treatment on board. The article in the paper actually, I think, galvanised people behind the Lions. When we had our meeting with regard to raising funds for the bone marrow transplant unit, Trevor had said, well, we need to raise well over $1 million, 1.5 million, I think, at the time, and you could see minds whirring, thinking, how the hell are we going to raise $1.5 million? Trevor just sat there and said, well, this is a pivotal moment in our history. We can either stay the way we are or we can take a walk into the future. And we took that walk. We launched the bone marrow transplant appeal, and at that time we had 1 or 2 branches, but it was absolutely fascinating that with the appeal, people seemed to come out of the woodwork. The community got behind us. We had branches that were established right throughout Queensland. 28 branches ended up being established throughout Queensland. And when you look at the fundraising, was absolutely incredible. We had dung being collected in Mount Isa, cans, baby shows where, I remember a baby show in North Coast where Trevor was all done up in his nappy and his dummy, and it was a sight for sore eyes. At the last World's Greatest Shave, I took the plunge and I shaved. And I was sitting in the audience at the shave night, the awards. And I just happened to be sitting beside a little fellow that was about 8 years old. I just wanted to cuddle him because he was like my grandson sitting there. During the awards, they had 3 patients. The 3 patients sat up and talked about their journey. Each patient broke down and became quite emotional. And I just put my hand around this little boy and I said, don't you feel proud of what, almost in tears myself, don't you feel proud of what you've done? And he said, oh, yes. It was an organisation that started as a volunteer organisation through an absolute need, but it's become an organisation today that is the voice and the authority when it comes to blood cancers. It doesn't matter where you work, in what place you work, whether you work behind the scenes, whether you're working in front of the scenes. We're all there to support each other. We're a bit like the wheel. We're all there. We're all working towards the same objective. We're all working towards that vision of a cure and the mission to care.